The story began with a boy named Koi, known for his colored hair in the school. Every girl in school was head over heels for him, much to the dismay of the other boys who couldn't stand his popularity. One day, as Koi was on his way to school, a few boys blocked his path and started teasing him about his flamboyant hair. In response, Koi, in true dramatic fashion, threw lemon soda at them. The soda landed on a girl named Mori. Mori was known to be extremely introverted and scared of even her own shadow. Instead of scolding Koi, she actually apologized to him and ran away from the scene. The next day, Mori was seen rehearsing how to say good morning while walking to school, because she was so timid that even greeting someone seemed like a mission to Mom. After arriving at school, she continued to practice in the classroom, whispering to herself. Koi, overhearing her mumbling, greeted her with a cheerful good morning, startling her. He then asked her whether she was really incapable of saying even that and came over to help her learn how to greet someone. When the other students began entering the class, Koi subtly gestured to Mori. Gulping down her fear, she bravely walked up to a girl named Indo and said good morning. Indo responded warmly and began talking to her. Mori, surprised by the kindness, found herself enjoying the conversation. Later, Koitsa was playing basketball and all the girls were screaming like he was some sort of rock star athlete. Mori was there too, but upon seeing the wild crowd, she made a silent prayer for invisibility and ran away. That evening, Mori was extremely happy. After all, for the first time in her life, she had spoken to someone and even said good morning. The following day, a group of senior girls began bullying Mori again. They taunted her, saying they had heard she was learning how to say good morning and challenged her to try it on them. This wasn't new. These girls had always picked on her. Koi, standing at a distance, quietly observed. As Mori tried to leave, she passed Kai and he expressed his frustration, saying someone ought to do something about those girls. But then Mori said that she couldn't change anything and had gotten used to the bullying. Koi asked her why she didn't seek help from someone, but then left quietly without another word. Later, Mori was walking along the road with a prospectus from a new school in her hands, clearly considering a change. Just then, those girls showed up and pushed her down. Spotting the fancy school prospectus, they laughed and told her to take a good look at her own face before dreaming so big. They sarcastically added that they doubted she could even afford the school uniform. After this royal humiliation, they walked away. Moments later, Koi appeared. He picked up the prospectus and gently asked if she was planning to apply to that school. Mori, still downcast, told him that she didn't think there was any place for someone like her in the world. Koi responded by saying that there wasn't any place for someone like him either, and that he too wanted to attend the same school. The next day, the same group of bullies confronted Mori again, but this time, something had changed. Mori gathered all her courage and looked straight into their eyes. The girl, surprised by this sudden bravery, shoved her to the ground. Koi then stepped forward and declared in front of everyone that if anyone dared to trouble Mori again, they'd have to deal with him. Ano and her gang, burning with rage, stormed off. Koi turned to Mori and told her that if she ever needed him, she should just remember that he was there for her. That day, Mori was filled with emotion. For the first time in her life, someone had stood up for her. Thanks to Koi, many of the students in class started befriending her. They even invited her to join them for lunch. When Mori saw their gourmet-style lunches, she was so shocked she almost forgot how to chew. One of the boys asked how she got admitted into the school, and she explained that she had received a scholarship. She added that in her previous school, she was treated terribly and hadn't had a single friend. A little later, just before class began, Koi turned to Mori and asked her in front of everyone if they could be friends. The whole class burst into dramatic gasps and teasing comments. Koi said that there was nothing wrong with making friends and that Mori had every right to choose hers. As school ended, Mori walked up to Indo with her bicycle and asked if she would be her friend. Indo smiled and replied that they already were friends, something Mori hadn't realized but clearly needed to hear. Meanwhile, Koi's friends asked him whether he liked Mori. He said he didn't, but added that she was a really good girl. Later that night, Koi was walking alone on the street when someone called out to him from behind. As he turned around and saw who it was, a big smile spread across his face, like someone had just offered him free Wi-Fi for life. The next day, Mori was looking for Koi. Outside the storage room, she spotted a bottle of lemon soda near the dish TV and instantly deduced that Koi must be inside. When she entered the room, she found Koi sleeping there. Startled to see her, Koi sat up quickly. Mori asked him what he was doing there, and he replied that he was just taking a quick nap. After school, Koi, Mori, and all their friends were sitting in a restaurant sipping coffee and chatting. That's when a girl, Zarina, walked in with a group of her friends. Zarina and Koi had been in love since middle school, but for some reason they had broken up. One of Zarina's friends boldly asked Koi why he had left Zarina. Zarina, clearly embarrassed, tried to shut her friend up, but the girl wouldn't stop talking. Finally, out of frustration, Zarina splashed water on her. Offended, the friend stormed out of the restaurant. Zarina then apologized to the others and quietly left as well. After this incident, Mori felt a little down. The next day, when Zarina arrived at school, the same girl showed up with the bully. It looked like she was about to confront Zarina again, but Mori suddenly stepped in and blocked her. Just then, Koi arrived, and the moment bullies saw him, they grabbed her friend and pulled a vanishing act. After school, Mori was heading home when Indo came up to her and asked if she was upset about the situation with Zarina. Zarina also showed up and pulled Mori aside to talk privately. She confessed that she had loved Koi since 9th grade and that he meant everything to her. Hearing this, Mori's mood dropped even more and she quietly walked home. Meanwhile, Koi's friends invited him to a Saturday night party, but he turned them down, saying he had some work to do. He took his bicycle and headed off. On the way, he saw Mori, called out to her and asked her to stop. But she completely ignored him and rode off like he was selling insurance. Back home, Mori was feeling really sad. She had started to like Koi too, but she knew that with Zarina in the picture, he would never love her back. The next day was the last day of the semester. After class, Mori was about to leave when Koi tried to talk to her, but she simply said, "I'll see you next semester," and walked away. At home, she kept thinking about him. Later, Mori went to the Bamboo Light Festival with Indo. Seeing Mori upset, Indo told her that the more she kept her feelings inside, the more painful it would get. Indo asked her why she didn't just admit that she loved Koi. Just then, a boy from their school arrived and took Indo away with him, leaving Mori to wander around the festival alone. Koi showed up there too, looking for Mori. As soon as she saw him, she tried to run away, but he caught her hand and stopped her. He asked her why she was ignoring Koi. Seeing that Mori was nervous, Koi gently held her hand and said, "You're really important to me." Mori blushed and ran away shyly. The next day, Koi and his friends went to the beach where they had a blast. Zarina took Koi aside and confessed her feelings to him. Koi said he was ready to be her boyfriend, but that she could leave him whenever she wanted. Zarina, sensing he wasn't serious, felt like he was just going to mess around with her and use her feelings. Still, gathering all her courage, she asked him again if he loved her. Koi said, "No, I can't love you." Zarina gave a fake smile, swallowed her heartbreak like a bitter pill and walked away. On her way out, she messaged Mori, saying that she would never come between her and Koi again, because Koi truly loved her. Reading the message, Mori felt really happy and couldn't believe what she was reading. Later, a Koi worked at a bar, something no one else knew about. One girl recognized him and asked if Mori was his girlfriend. Koi replied, "No, I'm not even worthy of her." After his shift ended, Koi grabbed some snacks and drinks and went home. He was so tired he practically melted into his bed the moment he arrived. The next day, Mori waited for Koi in class, but he didn't show up. Concerned, she went to the storage room to find him, but he wasn't there. That's when she found his ID card, which had his address on it. After school, she got on her bike and rode to his house. When she rang the bell, Koi opened the door and collapsed right there. Mori realized he had a high fever. A little panicked, she stayed. When Koi regained consciousness, he saw Mori cooking for him. He asked her what she was doing there. Mori explained that he hadn't come to class, so she had gone looking for him, found his ID and decided to check on him. Koi thanked her and said, "If you hadn't come today, maybe I would have died." Mori then asked him where his parents were, but he didn't answer. Mustering some courage, Mori asked for his phone number. Koi smiled and said he had been waiting for this day, when she would finally ask him for it. As Mori was about to leave, she told Koi that if he ever needed anything, he should remember her. Koi thanked her again and asked her to meet him after school. The next day, when Mori reached school, she saw a whole group of girls swarming around Koi like he was the last piece of cake at a birthday party. They were sweet-talking him, saying how the next time he fell ill they wanted him to call them too. One even dramatically declared that they missed him terribly when he didn't show up the day before. Mori saw all this from a distance, rolled her eyes, and quietly walked away. After school, she rode her bike to the place where Koi had asked her to meet him. Since she was running a bit late, she cycled like her life depended on it. Huffing and puffing, she reached him and apologized for the delay. Koi asked her about the school uniform mentioned in the prospectus and casually dropped a question about whether she still liked reading. Mori was stunned that he remembered and told him she never thought he'd recall such an old random thing. Mustered by a mix of courage and teenage hormones, Mori told him she loved him and immediately turned into a blushing tomato. But this time, Koyu also came closer, confessed his feelings and kissed her. marking the official beginning of their dramatic love story. The next morning, Mori woke up feeling like she was the star of a rom-com. She got dressed with extra care, blushed all the way to school, and when she reached the gate, she found Koi waiting for her. Right in front of everyone, Koi grabbed his hand, and the two of them proudly strolled across campus. Watching this, it felt like the entire school's female population got collectively dumped. Girls were crying, yelling, and probably updating their heartbreak status on every social media app. Koi didn't hold back, and announced to everyone that Mori was his girlfriend. After that, the two of them started spending lots of time together, eating, drinking, going for walks, listening to music, and basically doing all the things couples do when they forget the world exists. Meanwhile, Koi had started going through Mori's diary like it was a secret mission to complete her harvest of feelings. One day, Mori again asked Koi about his family, but he didn't answer and went home. The next day, she brought him lunch in the storeroom, but he refused it, saying he wasn't in the mood to eat. Later, Mori asked him to come to the Christmas party with her, but he said no and walked off. A bit later, Koi's friends took him out for some party shopping to lift his mood. On the way back, they bumped into that same girl who had once questioned him about Mori. She told him he better show up that night. His friends also started pestering him with questions, but Koi stayed tight-lipped. When they kept pushing, he finally snapped and told them to mind their own business. Mori witnessed this little explosion and found his behavior really rude but said nothing. That night, Mori found out where Koi worked and showed up at the bar. She was stunned to see him working there and even more shocked to see the girls at the bar openly flirting with him. One girl even claimed that Koi belonged to her. Koi quickly came out and took Mori aside, asking what she was doing there. Mori asked him why he never told her he worked at the bar. There was nothing secretive about it. Koi responded with a dramatic flair, saying this was his real life. Then he walked away, as if he was leaving behind his dreams and dignity. The next day, Mori went to the school terrace to meet him. Koi asked her what she liked about him. She said he was caring, responsible, loving, and very smart. Then he asked her what she didn't like. She replied that he didn't value her love and hadn't introduced her to his parents yet. That triggered Koi. He told her that if she really felt that way, then she should never come back to him. And just like that, he broke her heart again and walked away, leaving behind another scene for their emotional movie. On Christmas Day, Koi's friends threw a party, but Koi was busy working at the bar. While working, he suddenly began thinking about Mori. He started remembering all the moments they had shared. Then, in true filmy style, he ran out of the bar and headed to the party to find her. But Mori wasn't there. He asked Indo where she was, and Indo, tired of his nonsense, asked why she should tell him anything. So he could go break Mori's heart again? Feeling guilty, Koi apologized to all his friends for not coming to the party, for not telling them about his job, and for fighting with them during Christmas shopping. One of his friends handed him a bicycle key and told him to go get his life together. Koi jumped on his bicycle like Robert Pattinson in a climax scene and went looking for Mori. He reached the station but couldn't find her. Just as he was standing there in disappointment, Mori showed up. Koi told her he had come looking for her at the station. He gave her back her diary, in which she had written questions about his mother and father. Koi finally opened up that his mother had passed away when he was very young, and his grandfather had left him too. He said that now, other than her, he had no one else in his life. He pleaded with her not to leave him. Mori, moved by his words, hugged him tightly. Then she proposed to him again. The two of them embraced and kissed, ending their whirlwind love story right there with hearts full and tissues empty.